This week on the Road Testament, we discuss JF's testosterone treatments.
Thanks.
The coolest new car, which has an amazing name and is inexpensive, and that's the
Hyundai Veloster.
Why we're still in my house, only one of 2 more episodes shot in my living room, and
I think that's it.
today on the Road Testament, Hyundai Veloster. Before we discuss the Veloster, let's be clear. This is one of the 2 last episodes we're going to shoot in my living room, budget and weather permitting.
Yes. New changes coming to the Road Testament. Will be very clear here. Next week, you're going to see a special from Petit Le Mans. Not too much about motor racing, something else very special. And then after that, we're going to do a special on James Dean.
Well, specifically James Dean's car,
Yes.
which was the 550 Spider, and we're coming up on the anniversary of his death. But let's
Right
get
to the Veloster.
Hyundai Veloster.
Let's start off with, well, where does it compete? It competes with the likes of the Fiat 500, the Honda CRZ, what else? Oh, Mini Cooper, and the
Scion.
Yeah, Scion TC.
Did you say Ford Fiesta?
Ford Fiesta as well. You know, it's a little bit more expensive than the Fiesta, but underneath the Focus, I like the Fiesta more than the Focus, so it's compared to the Fiesta. That's the better car. How much does the Veloster cost? Let's start off-
17 and change.
17 and change goes up to $23,000. Let's talk about what you get for that much money.
Well, wait, I got to stop you right there.
Yeah.
The first thing about this car that I love, it's got 3 doors.
Yes,
Now,
yeah, it's a non-symmetrical car. I
Right.
love this.
Now the RX-8, I thought it had 3, but apparently had 4 doors. Had the same thing.
Well,
this
it has
funny little
Scissor
extra door.
extra doors. This is the third door is a real door. It actually has a hinge like a sedan.
Which is on the right side, so if
Yeah.
you have passengers getting out, they get out on the legal, safe side.
Yes.
Which, considering the demographic of the likely buyers of this car,
Yes.
is probably a good idea. But I'm not going to say...
And you also have to look at it like this. When you look at the car from the driver's side, when you get in, it looks like a coupe. It looks like a sports coupe. When you look at it from the sidewalk, it looks like a sedan.
Right.
So that's something.
It looks like the kind of car your drunk friends in college get out of the back will get out of the back on the safe side. That's the point of this third door, it
Yes.
seems to me. Very cool feature.
Yes. So let's talk about Hyundai for a second. The
Every
brand-
car they've come out with the
Yeah.
last year and a half has been good, if not great.
Actually, let's also look at it from a fuel economy standpoint. They've got going on 4 cars that can reach 40 miles per gallon on the highway. That's incredible when you really think about it.
And
You have all these companies that are struggling to get their fleet average up. Hyundai has said, screw it, we'll do as many cars as possible.
And none of them are hybrids.
Well, they have hybrids in the fleet, but the 40 miles per gallon is non-hybrid. Yes, so the Veloster has 40 miles per gallon on the highway. You can get it in a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed DCT, which is a
Dual clutch
dual clutch.
transmission.
It's a dry dual clutch, which saves on weight, which again helps fuel economy. What else can we say?
Let's get to the point of this car. Really is look what Ford did with the Fiesta. They tried to hit every single feature set they thought that someone young looking for a car under 20 would want.
Yeah.
And they packed it into what is a great car. I mean, I love the Fiesta.
Yeah,
right?
and I think no one will ever knock the Fiesta.
But the Veloster, it's like everything Ford was trying to do in the Fiesta, but better.
Yeah.
A little bit more money, and the design is one. I mean, it's the first Hyundai, really, when I look at it,
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't know it was a Hyundai when I saw it first time.
Yeah.
And it's a great looking car.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily in a Hyundai, it's just a great looking car.
Yeah, it's got like this 177 treatment up front. There's another thing I want to.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
It does look like that a bit, but it also, the headlights look a little bit like Amy Winehouse.
I think that's the only complaint that a lot of people may have is that the front headlight treatment may be weird for some people. I personally like it. You may like it. You may not. It doesn't matter. Let's talk. There's one thing I do want to bring up. When this car was introduced at the Detroit Auto Show about a year ago, I could not believe the presence at the auto show reveal. Actually, I took a cell phone photo. There's so many people lined up, as far as the eye could see, waiting for this car. That says a lot for a brand, especially at an auto show with all these journalists who are kind of they just don't want to pay attention to a lot of reveals. Everyone paid attention to this. That says something about the brand. That says something that people are paying attention. That's good.
Well, at this point, Hyundai is setting a bar for themselves, which is way higher than other manufacturers are setting. I mean, when Honda came out with the CRZ, I mean, we wanted it. It made sense on paper. Hybrid, small, CRX kind of descendant, but it didn't stir the passion or excitement of anybody.
Yeah.
And it's just it's not the car. The Veloster is the car the CRZ wanted to be.
Yeah.
Because the Veloster is dead on correct.
Yeah.
And the design is great. the door feature is cool, but when you talk about the technology of this car, every single thing I would want or a kid would want in a car is in this car.
Yeah.
I mean, the what's it called?
Well, let's start from the motor back. Okay, let's start with the motor. It's 138 horsepower, 123 pounds-feet of torque, 28 city, 40 highway, as we said. You're going to drive this car, you're going to be reminded of the fact that it's a $17,000 car in the sense that it doesn't have a lot of power.
But it also weighs 2,600 pounds, which means it's the lightest car in class.
Lightest car, is it 2,600 pounds?
It's 2,600 pounds.
Yep,
which means that you are one engine upgrade away from this being a hot
awesome
hatch.
Car. No, and not to say that this car is not fast. It is fun on mountain roads. I'm sure if you go into higher elevations with a naturally aspirated motor, it's not going to be that great, but
a turbo,
it's perfectly fine for normal, fun street use.
But a turbo's coming.
Well, we're not
soon.
Confirmed yet, but we have.
It's on the website. Okay, it's on the wiki. The turbo's coming, and when that comes out, this is going to be a real killer car.
Yeah.
Because if a Mini Cooper S is considered a competitor, and that car is $12,000 more expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not that much when you really.
A loaded Mini Cooper S, you're going to be over 30.
Base to base, you're looking at like a $6,000 difference.
All right. So a turbo version of this car, loaded out, it's going to be 25.
If you're talking about the Cooper S, which is
we're talking about the Cooper S.
Well, for the R, let's talk about the Veloster as is.
When the Veloster has a turbo, it's going to be a killer car.
Of course, but
it's a great car now. It's a turbo away, and you know it, and I know it. You don't want to.
Okay.
I mean, because look what else you can get for the money.
Yeah.
A Scion doesn't have the design.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as edgy. It doesn't have the technology. And it's never going to have the handling. It's just not going to be there. A Fiesta is a great car, but at the end of the day, it's still a little smaller, a little bit less of a car, and it costs a little bit less. Makes perfect sense.
Yep.
But the Mini Cooper S, the Cooper and the Cooper S are really, these were the original Halo small cars in this country. And the Fiat is cool, and it hits a lot of marks, and it's got a great brand, and it looks nice, but the Fiat doesn't have the power, the space that this car has. And it's never going to be upgradable to the level of performance that Hyundai is going for. Hyundai built the Genesis. That's a great car. They know
the R-Spec is amazing. I just drove one yesterday. Awesome.
They know how to build great cars. They know how to build sporty cars, and now they are single model upgrades away from great sporty cars. And this car is going to be, I think, the killer car for Hyundai.
One thing that impressed me the most about the Veloster was the interior. I think this car has the best interior you can buy for $18,000. Single-handedly, they used the best materials around the entire cockpit. They really did. I couldn't really find any faults. The seats were great. The driving position could be fine-tuned, and I heard that they are working on that, but it's as is. It's fantastic out of the box.
Before we discuss technology, which is amazing, I got my one caveat about this car. Is that the center stack, like the Fiesta and like a lot of cars marketed at the younger demographic, the center stack looks like the head of Voltron has been placed in the center of the dashboard.
They designed it after a sport bike feel. So when you look at it, it looks like a sport bike. I like it. I think it looks good. Let's talk about the back. Rear room. Leg room. I'm 6'2". I sat myself in the front, then sat myself in the back. Could fit perfectly. Plenty of leg room. The only problem? A little short on the headroom for someone at 6'2". 5'8", 5'7", you're going to be perfectly fine back there.
Well, I mean, look, it's adequate. It's fine.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me when I got into that car.
Yeah.
I think actually I was surprised actually at how easy it was to get in and out of the car with that third door.
Yeah.
And,
it's a legitimate door.
Yeah.
It is a legitimate door.
Maybe more legitimate than the RX-8 door was.
Absolutely. What else?
But we haven't really gotten into the technology.
Okay,
which is that crazy, the Blue Link system.
Yeah.
So Ford has Ford Sync.
Ford Sync, yep.
And which is fine.
Yeah.
And you kind of expect
kind of the same model with Blue Link. I would say it's this relatively the same model. It's using a cell network that you subscribe to. It is free. It is initially free, and then after a trial period, you do have to subscribe to it. And the price ranges from $79 up to $279.
But the Hyundai has a huge display.
Yes.
Whether or not you buy the nav system, which is overpriced at $2,000 plus it's packaged into something else. But the bottom line is the Hyundai display is huge. Is it 6 inches?
7 inches.
It's big.
Yeah.
And a lot of cars, including much more expensive cars, when you don't buy the nav, info display is a smaller, cheaper unit. Hyundai gives you the big display even if you don't buy the nav, which is awesome because of the Blue Link functionality and just general visibility. And
so, well, you get. Let's talk about Blue Link. What is Blue Link? Blue Link is you're connected to a cell network, and then you are connected to a call center, which if there's an emergency, you can call. If there's
it's like example, OnStar on crack. Yeah, it's really good. It's tied in, it has Facebook location update functionality built in.
Yep.
There's a parental feature with the fencing.
It's called geofence, which is very cool. So as a parent, if you buy this car for someone else, you can actually set the boundaries so that if your son or daughter drives outside a certain boundary, a certain latitude and longitude, it will actually set off an alarm and tell the parents, so the parents can feel safer about where the child is driving their car.
And unbelievably, I can't believe they have this feature. You can play video over that display.
Yes, it's got
an RCA composite cable.
Yeah, exactly. So if you wanted to hook up your PS3 or DVD player, you can hook it up and play on the screen. It even has a 115-volt jack in the center console. So not a cigarette lighter, a real power jack. So you can plug your laptop in, you can plug in a DVD player. It's pretty cool.
Which means if you have an iPhone and you get the RCA composite cable adapter, you could run a nav app off your iPhone into the dash display.
That's a very interesting concept.
I mean, everyone's thinking about hooking up an iPhone cable in order to use Pandora. That's cool, but you could also just run an iPhone nav app using a video adapter direct into the dash and save yourself $2,000.
That's very interesting. That's very cool.
That's exactly what I would do.
So, final thoughts?
Or Pandora off your iPhone into the dash, and your laptop plugged into the 110 power, and video off of that, GPS onto. But you need a 3G card. So this is a great.
So that's more distracting than it will ever really need to be if you just subscribe to
But it's every optional thing I can do with my car in one car that I can't get in almost any other car at any price. Final thoughts on the Veloster? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't really think of. I love the Fiat 500. I can't wait till the Abarth comes around, but that's a totally different league. I was very impressed by driving the Veloster. It was great in the mountain roads. It was great around the city. Great fuel economy. It was comfortable. Great interior. Not really many bad things to say other than the lack of headroom in the back
and the center stack. But turbo model coming and tunable in a way that the CRZ is not. I can't wait to see this car in a turbo model. How much more is Hyundai paying you than Audi?
No one pays me to advertise anything.
All right, let's wrap this.
One last thing. 53% of Hyundai customers rebuy Hyundai. That is better than Toyota and better than Honda.
Dude, you're being paid by somebody.
That's an incredible statistic.
I want some of that cash. Next week, Petit Le Mans episode. Then we discuss James Dean, 550 Spider, accident, death, anniversary.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Why do you think I like a car? You know what car I don't like? Ford Focus. No one's paying me anything. I'm telling you, I like the Veloster.
We're not paying you anymore. Goodbye.